I welcome you all for the next video on job shop scheduling problem. Now in this JSS job shop scheduling problem, we are going to discuss n jobs with m machines, n jobs with n machines, and we'll be using Gantt chart method to solve the job shop scheduling problem. Now if you take job shop scheduling problem, so these are some of the elementary type of problem. So that is n jobs with 2 machines or n jobs with 3 machines. Now these two can be solved by these two methods, whether it is a n job 2 machine or n job 3 machines, can be solved by a normal tabular method, non-tabular method. Now in this video, so we are going to focus on m jobs with 3 machines. We are going to focus on m jobs with m machines. n jobs with m machines. Now there are some understanding about this JSS. That is basically in JSS job shop scheduling problem, each of the job need to undergo a unique path or way or order, so that need to be processed in various machines. So each job will follow a specific path in various machines. So say for example, the machines may be turning, milling, threading, turbo turning, something like. So these are the 4 machines. Now first job, it may first go to turning, then to milling, then may go to threading, in that way. So each of the job has its unique path or order, so that goes to various machines. Okay. Now second point to be noted is, it is not mandatory. So listen here, it is not mandatory for all the jobs to be machined in all the jobs to be machined in all the machines. So if you have 3 jobs and 4 machines, maybe job 1 and job 2 need to be processed in all the 4 machines, and it is not mandatory that the third job may or may not. So the third job also need to be processed in all the 4 machines. So it is purely based on the requirement. So if you have n jobs with m machines, all the jobs may undergo operations in all the machines, or one or many jobs may undergo all the processing in the machines. That is the second point. Now third point to be noted is, each machine will process only one job at a time, which means no machine will do 2 jobs at a time. If there are 2 jobs, of course we have a rule, so we'll discuss later in the next slide. So if there are 2 jobs that need to be processed in a single machine, so we follow a rule. We need to follow a rule. Based on the rule, we'll be solving problem. Okay. So the third point to be noted is, each machine will process only one job at a time. Now these are the rules we are going to follow in this video. So number 1, if there are 2 jobs that need to be processed in the same machine, we need to select only the SPT, that is a job with the smallest processing time. Suppose you have job 1 with a processing time of say a 6 time unit, and job 2 with say for example with a processing time of 9 unit. Now these 2 need to be processed, for example, in the same machine, say for example M1. Now if such cases arises, what we need to do? So we said we need to follow SPT. Therefore based on SPT, this will be selected first, then this is second. So order wise, this will be second and this will be first. So this is what the rule number 1 says. Now rule number 2 says, don't keep a machine idle. So when there are jobs waiting in front of a machine for processing, don't keep the machine idle. So utilize the machine so that machine utilization will be larger. Okay. Now here is a simple illustration. Now we have 3 jobs. 3 jobs need to be processed in 4 machines. Say for example, it is given as an example. Now first job goes in this sequence. So it goes to machine 1, then to machine 2, then to machine 3, then to machine 4. Whereas if you take the second job, it follows a different path, M4 to M2 to M3, and last it exits after it is processed at machine 3. Now if you take the third job, so this is the sequence. That is, it goes to M2 first, then to M1, then to M4, then to M3. Okay. So an example is given. Now those machines and jobs which is given in this illustration is given here. So we have machines. So the machines are arranged like this, in this way. Now I need to admit the first job. Now first job enters machine 1 first. First job enters machine 1. Okay. Then it goes to machine 2, then machine 3, then to machine 4. So this is the sequence we need to follow for the job 1. Now if you take the second job, so it enters at machine 4, then it goes to machine 2, then to machine 3, it exits at machine 1. If you take the third job, it enters at the second machine, then it goes to first machine, then it goes to the fourth machine and exit as machine number 3. So in that way, so each of the job will have its own path based on the requirement. So we need to fix the path, and based on the path we need to process these jobs on those machines. Okay, right. So with this intro, let us take one problem. Let us take a problem. Okay. Now we have a problem which has 3 jobs with 3 machines. Now we need to use Gantt chart to solve this one. So we'll be using Gantt chart to solve this one. Gantt chart. Now you have jobs lined up here, and the sequence of operation for those jobs on the machines are given here. That is, job 1, first it has to go to machine 1, then to machine 3, and it has to go to machine 2. Now if you take the second job, that is here. So it has to go to machine 3 first, then machine 2, then to machine 1. If you take the last and the final job, so it has to enter machine 1, then to machine 2, then to machine 3. Now if you observe the first column, now you can see job 1, it goes to machine 1 first. Also job 3 also goes to the machine 1 first. So machine 1, in front of machine 1 you have 2 jobs, J1 and J3, but with a different processing time. So here we need to recall the SPT rule. So which says that we need to select a job with the smallest processing time. We need to select with the SPT. Since job 1 is with smallest processing time of 6, so this will be selected first. Then after J1, J3 will go to machine 1. Okay, so after J1, J3 will go to machine 1. Okay. To solve the problem in Gantt chart, I opened an Excel sheet. Okay. So here you have the statement of the problem. So which we discussed just before, and we need to sequence these job on these machines in the Gantt chart representation. The Gantt chart representation. Now for the Gantt chart. Now for the Gantt chart, I've selected 3 colors for the job 1, job 2 and for job 3. So 3 different representation for job 1, 2 and 3. And for the Gantt chart, this is my representation. This is my representation for a Gantt chart. So 3 machines, therefore M1, M2, M3, and x-axis says that these are the time units. So for the 3 jobs, I have opened 37 time units of access. Okay, right. Now let us go to the problem. Now already we said based on SPT, shortest processing time, job 1 also need to go to M1, job 3 also need to go to M1, but based on SPT, this is selected first. So this is selected first. Okay. Now I'm going to represent that in the table. So I'm selecting a border and I'm drawing this thing. That is job 1 goes to machine 1 and it takes 6 time units. It is here. Okay. So job 1 on machine 1 is taking 6 time units. Okay. So we can write here job 1 on machine 1 with the processing time of 6. So this is done. So let me highlight this. So first job on machine 1 with the processing unit of 6. Processing time unit of 6. Next, I need to select M2. So M2, if you want to machine some jobs in M2, so there are some priorities, like there are some precedence. So jobs need to come to M2 after M3 for job 1. For the second job, to machine the job 2 on machine 2, it has to go to M3 first. Similarly for the third job, so to come to machine 2, there is some precedence. Therefore, I cannot do this first. That is, machine 1 cannot be done first. Therefore, I am selecting machine 3. So you can see job 2 on machine 3 takes a time unit of 4. Job 2 on machine 3 takes a time unit of 4. So let me take a border and do like this. So it is the second job. On machine 3 with a time unit of, let me increase this font of the text, with a time unit of 4. Job 2 on machine 3. Job 2 on machine here. So let me highlight this as well. Okay, so this is also done. Next, I can go for the third job on machine 1. Already we said based on SPT, though J1, J3 comes to M1, J1 first go to M1, then we can take J3 to M1. Okay. Now I am selecting a third job. I am selecting this one, third job, which need to go to machine 1. So machine 1. So with a processing time of 9. So let me draw table border again. So at the end of 6th time unit, job 1 is ready to be dispatched and machine 1 will be idle. Now it is the opportunity for the third job to enter machine 1. Okay. So its time unit is 9. Therefore 9 plus 6 I have drawn to a scale of 15. Okay. So that color can be pasted over here. You can merge this and replace, increase the font, bold, everything can do. So this is the third job on machine 1 with a time unit of 9. With a time unit of 9. So third job on machine 1. You can see third job on machine 1 with a time unit of 9. This is also done. Let me highlight that with the yellow as well. Now job 1, after being machined in M1, it has to go to machine 3. Job 1 goes to machine 3 with the time unit of 11 here. With the time unit of 11 here. So job 1 at 6th time unit, it is ready to be dispatched from M1. Next, it goes to third machine. It goes to third machine and it takes a time unit of 11. Takes a time unit of 11. So 11 plus 6, it is 70. 11 plus 6, it is 70. You can see. So its time unit is 11. It enters by 6. You can see. And enters by 6 and leaves by 17. So taking a total of 17 time minutes. Okay. So you can merge wrap. You can do this. Now this is the third job. So let me select this color. Sorry, this is the first job. Let me select this one and paste it here. Okay. You can paste over here. So this is job 1 on machine 3 with a time unit of 11. With a time unit of 11. Okay. So job 1 on machine 3 with a time unit of 11. So this is also done. So let me highlight this as well. Now next, job 2, after it is processed in machine 3, it needs to go to machine 2. So machine 2, as of now, it is idle. There is no machine, there is no jobs to be processed, or there is no job in queue. Therefore, job 2 can go to machine 2. Job 2. So job 2 at 4th time unit, you can see 4th time unit on machine 3. 4th time unit on machine 3, it is ready to be dispatched to the second machine. It is taking a time unit of 9. So totally it is 4 plus 5, it is 9. Okay, 4 plus, so it is taking time unit of 5. So 4 plus 5, it is 9. So the font and other things can be changed as usual. Then you can select the job color here and paste it over here. Okay. So this is second job. This is second job on machine 2 with the processing time of 5. You can see. So second job on machine 2 with the processing time of 5. So this is also done. Let me highlight this as well. Now third job, after it is being processed in machine 1, it has to come to machine 2. Okay. So third job is here. It has to come to machine 2. It takes a time unit of 10. So third job, it is coming from machine 1, goes to machine 2 at 15th time unit. Because till 15th time unit, job 3 is being processed in machine 1. Therefore, I cannot start here. So I need to start here. So once it is being completely processed in machine 1, at the end of 15th total time unit, or its own 9th time unit, it comes to the second machine at 15th time unit, and it takes a time of 10 time minutes. So already it is 15. Now it is 5, which means 25. Which means it is 25. Okay. So as usual, text wrap, merge, center, font, color, everything you can change. Now this is the third job on machine 2, and it takes a time unit of 10, which is given in the question. It takes a time unit of 10. So J3 on machine 2 with a time unit of 10. Yes, J3 with M2 time units of 10. So this is also completed. Next, first job, already it is machined at M1, M3. Now it has to come to M2. So where is first job? At 17th time unit. First job is completely processed in machine 3. Now from here it is ready to be dispatched to the second machine. Okay, it has to enter. So first job on machine 2 with a time unit of 7. First job on machine 2 with a time unit of 7. It has to enter. Now at 17th time unit, it is ready to be dispatched, but at 17th minute, job 3 is being processed till 25 time unit. Therefore, I cannot allow job 1 to process in machine 2 at 17th minute. So I need to wait till that third job is finished. Therefore, from here I can start. I'll repeat again. Job 1 is ready to be processed here. At 17th minute, it need to goes to machine 2. But already machine 2 is being processed. Therefore, I cannot allow that one. So till 25. Till 25. So after 25, I can admit the first job on machine 2 with a time unit of 7. So 25 plus 7, it will be 32. So we can merge, bold, increase the font, the other things you can do. Now its color is this one. So you can select and paste it here. So it is first job on machine 2 with a time unit of 7. First job on machine 2 with a time unit of 7. So now this is also done. Let me highlight this as well. Next, job 2, after M3 and M2, it has to go to M1. Job 2, it has to go to M1. So where is job 2? Job 2 is here. So at 9th time it is ready. I cannot enter here first. Therefore, I can start only from here only. So because till this time unit, job 3 is in process. Therefore, I can admit J2 at the end of 15th time unit. Okay. So I'm going to draw a table border from there, and it is taking a time unit of 4, I think. It is taking a time unit of 4. So job 2 on machine 1 taking a time unit of 4. So it is 15 plus 4, it is 19, and its color is this one, blue color, and you can fix it over here. So that is job job 2 on machine 1 with the processing time of 4. Okay, so first job is done. Sorry, second job also done completely. So here, yeah. Second job also done completely. Second job, yes, that is here. Yeah, here. So I need to copy and I need to paste over here. So this job 2 with the time unit of 4. Control C. Yes. Okay. So job 2 on machine 1. Job 2 on machine 1 with the time unit of 4. With the time unit of 4. Job 2 on machine 1 with the time unit of 4. So it is also done. Job 2 machine 1 time unit is 4. You can see, right? Time unit of 4. Job 2 machine 1 time unit of 4. So it is done. Next, the last job, job 3 on M3 with a time unit of 10. So where is my job 3? So job 3 is here. It has to go to second machine. Sorry, it has to go to the third machine. It has to go to. So from here I need to draw that one. So let me select draw border. It enters and it is taking a time unit of 10. It is taking a time unit of 10. So let me extend the time as well. Okay, so I can draw the table over here. 42 because his time unit is 10, so 32 plus 10, 42. So once again you can merge, wrap, bold, increase the font size to 20 and other things you can do, and just you can copy and paste it over here, and that is job 3. So I can just copy now job 3 on M3. Job 3 on M3. So where is job 3? Job 3 is ready here. Job 3 is ready here. Now it has to go to M3 at 25th time unit. At 25th time unit. Okay. So it is taking a processing time of job 3 at 10. So here is, I can draw table border. I can start from here. So 25 plus 10. So this is 55. Okay. So I can merge this font, other things you can do. That is job 3 on PM3, that is also 10. Okay, that is also 10. Now I can see at a total time of, so you can see job 1 starts from here. Job 1 starts from here. Yeah. So job 1 starts from here. It starts from here then enters here, then again it ends here. So at 32 time units, job 1 is done. Now if you take job 2, it starts with 4. By 9th time unit, it is over. It has completed job mission 1 and 2. Then again, by 19th time unit, it has completed all its operation in all the 3 missions. Now if you take the third job, which is done now, if you take the third job, so it is starting at mission 1, taking a time unit of 9, then to mission 2, another 10, then to mission 3, another 10. So you can see at the 35th time unit, all the 3 jobs are done in all the 3 missions. So this is the way you need to start processing all the jobs in these 3 missions. So this is the Gantt chart representation of that one.